Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to the 88th character in this series of videos talking about various newcomer ideas for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And as I mentioned in the last video, with Axel Stone from Streets of Rage, the next character I was going to be talking about, character number 88, was going to be me jumping back into the world of the Tails franchise and talk about the second character on my list from that franchise. I've already talked about Lloyd Irving. If you want to see that, his video, just scroll up on the playlist. It's like character 60 something. He's in the 50s or 60s somewhere. So yeah, there you go. But I want to talk about Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia and talk about the reasons for why I feel he should be the Tails representative, why he should be in Smash Bros. And the same thing as always, 3 separate categories. Why does a character make sense for Smash Bros? Moveset ideas, and percentage chance I can see them actually getting in. So what makes Yuri stand out from Lloyd? Because everyone, even Sakurai, basically goes to Lloyd. You got the Mii costume in Smash Bros. 4. He's just like the most well-known Nintendo character. How does Yuri stand up against him as a Tails representative? Let's get this started with the reasons for why I feel he should be in. First and foremost, the Tails franchise in general, and I said the same thing with Lloyd. Tails has a long history with Nintendo. Tales of Fantasia, the original game, was on the Super Famicom and was later ported to the Game Boy Advance. A lot of the games have been on PlayStation over the years, but a lot of games in the series have also been on Nintendo. And the Tales franchise is one of Namco's most probably popular, long-time historical franchises on Nintendo. One of their biggest RPGs, one of their biggest franchises in general. And on Nintendo, they have numerous games. So, in my opinion, it's not just the likes of Soul Calibur and Tekken that could be the next, Namco character. Tails deserves it too, and Tails has just as much history, if not more, than those two franchises, especially on Nintendo. So there you go with that. And then we also have to talk about Tales of Vesperia, getting the definitive edition, which is coming to the Switch and the PS4 and the Xbox One. They're bringing the game back. Originally, it was a 360 PS3 game. The PS3 game was never localized outside of Japan, and anyone that wanted to play it back then had to get it on Nintendo, on the Xbox 360. Now they're releasing it on every single system, so the game is made relevant again, and it's easily marketable and advertisable. And the game is also coming to the Switch, and that means he's now officially a Tails character that's on Nintendo. And not only is his game coming to the Switch, but he also made a cameo in Project Cross Zone 2. I mentioned the same thing in the last video with Axel Stone. Axel Stone was in the Project Cross Zone series. In the second game, he was one of the major characters. You know who also was in that game? It is thus the crossover character that makes sense to be in a crossover game like Smash Brothers. Yuri Lowell. It wasn't Lloyd. It was him. Now, Lloyd, I believe, was in the first game. He's been in the series too, so he's also a crossover character just like that. And he's also been in Soul Calibur Legends and whatever the heck else. But Yuri's in the same boat. He's a crossover character from Namco that's been in a crossover game on Nintendo. His game is now officially on Nintendo. It's easily marketable, and he's pretty much one of the most popular, if not the most popular main characters in this series. He's definitely one of the most popular, because I do believe he's like the most popular main character in Japan, while in America it's Lloyd. So that's pretty much why they're neck and neck, in my opinion. America versus Japan, basically Lloyd versus Yuri. And both of them are possible, and now both of them have history on Nintendo, and both of them can be original, unique fighters, and both of them are well-liked, and their games are some of the most popular in the Tails franchise. And Tails is a long-time historical, popular, franchise from Namco on Nintendo. So not only does Namco, Tails franchise deserve to be in Smash Bros. Because of its history, he's pretty much one of the top choices. It's not just Lloyd, and I personally would say he's in that same ballpark. And he's competition for Lloyd. Like various other franchises have competition between characters getting in. So there you go. Now let's get on to moveset ideas. Now, I know a lot of people can see what he's holding in his hand, and they've played the games, and oh no, he's a sword user. But I've said before, the weapon class and style of weapon choice that a character has should not dictate what, them not being able to get in. Should dictate them getting in or not getting in. And a lot of people seem to have hatred for swords because of, Shulk and Fire Emblem and Link and a bunch of sword characters in Smash Bros. But people, that's like the most popular weapon type throughout the history of the world was swords. So you kind of have to expect in video game fashion, a lot of people use swords. so I would say the sword haters can, kind of suck it. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of diversity because he's not straight up a sword user. He also can use his fists, and he can also use axes. So I'm just like the likes of when I talk about Miriam from Bloodstained or Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. He's a 3-in-1 weapon user that you can switch with down B, like how Zelda and Sheik can switch out, Pokemon Trainer and Brawl and stuff like that, and now Smash Bros. Ultimate. He's a 3-in-1. He'll have a sword, which will be his second star, which is, I think, one of the major swords you see basically in advertisable art. It's one of the swords in the game he actually gets from a major storyline event, and it's the one you mostly see in. So it's kind of like a katana almost. It's almost a katana-esque type sword, but not really. It's still more so European-esque. An axe, which I picked the great axe, which is one of the basic axes you can get, and then the Garm Fang, which is like a gauntlet, which is in punching. So basically, the axe and the sword will be his average speed, average damage. Axe will be slower but more damage. The fist to be faster but less damage. So it's going to be like how I did with Miriam with the whip and the axe and the sword thing, and Byleth with an axe, a sword, and a lance. So there you go. Fast, average, faster, it's not as strong, slower, more strong. So you can switch it out. That's going to be his smash attacks. He could use a normal sword, jab, stab, and everything with it. Axe, or fist punching. Because he's majorly known for getting in the fight, so he can punch. He knows how to hand-to-hand combat. I need to make that as a representative on there. Not just a sword and not just an axe. So there you go. So his smash attacks will be a sword, an axe, and fist-to-cuff punch type move, like a gauntlet. So you can switch it with down B in the specials. And now, in terms of his special attacks, it's going to be the art. So if you've played the Tales franchise, you know that all the characters get like these arts, these special abilities they can do. Like mage users can use magic, and sword users and axe users and lance and all different weapons can use like special, like Demon Fang, Demon Fang, Demon Fang. Like I mentioned in the Lloyd video, like stuff like that. And his arts have a lot of things to do with like wolves, because he fights like a wolf. He fights wild like, and he has a wolf companion. So a lot of his things are like wild maneuvers. Like he's trained in. He's not like one style of fighter. He can just go all over the place. And some of the major ones in the game are like the Tiger Blade, Shining Fang, Azure Sword, Azure Wolf Strike, Crushing Eagle. If you played the games, you'll know exactly what these are. They're basically either he shoots beams out of his swords, little slash waves, or it's like Demon Fang, like that. The Shining Eagle, the Brutal Fang, the Wolf Strike, Final Gale, Savage Wolf Fury, Cerberus Strike, Fang Strike. And now I mentioned like a good 20 of them almost there. And obviously they wouldn't all fit into an actual moveset. So you'd have to pick maybe about 5 of them, I would say. And this could also work with any of the moves. I'd say you'd have, if you're in the fist fighting style, you automatically will switch to an axe or a lance when you do these, because these have to basically be used by a physical weapon like the axe or the sword. But if you're in the axe or sword, this works for either weapon. Even though some of these are specific to only a sword or an axe, I don't want that specific thing to be in his actual moveset in Smash Brothers. So some of these ones that are straight up sword, you could use when you're wielding the axe, and vice versa with the axe with the sword. Axe abilities on sword. So I would say if I had to pick about 6 of them, I would say, since it's one of his major ones, the Fang Strike and the Wolf Strike, and then maybe the Dragon Swarm, the Tiger Blade, Shining Fang, and maybe Crushing Eagle. So various different arts he'll have as his special attacks. And then for his final smash, I'm going to basically give him one of his mystic arts. One of basically these, there's, like I mentioned in the Lloyd video, a lot of the Tales franchise is almost built on these double teamwork arts. And like I did with the Lloyd video, I basically made him do like a team party type arts where they all attack the opponents, him, Colette, and all that stuff. But this one isn't going to be a full team art. It's going to be a double team, and I wanted to team him up with his best friend rival Flynn. So it's basically going to be the mystic art, and it's Yuri and Flynn's, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Dual Hai Oji Bushin Sotenha. So basically, it's a special move that specifically Flynn and Yuri can do. So Yuri's going to strike his sword, go into a cutscene. The cutscene, he slashes with a cutscene. Then you're kind of put into a battlefield that would be inside. Any opponents that you slash would be transferred to a battlefield from Tales. And basically both slash the opponents. So basically, he kind of, like, Yuri jumps in and slashes them, and then Flynn comes in and slashes them, and then both summon like a circle around his opponents, like they're summoning with their magic and stuff. And they both jump in the air, and they both do like this cross slash thing that does like an energy beam, like that twirls around, like, and hits the stage, and a big explosion sends them off the stage. There you go. Sends the opponents off the stage. And especially if you're hurt and damaged, you'll be sent off and KO'd anyway. So there you go. So basically, it's a cutscene based final smash that any opponent you catch in the final smash will be put into the attack, like a Shulk or a Mega Man type of thing. Like I mentioned those two a whole lot because they have cutscene based ones where they summon their parties or summon an extra Mega Man or something like that, and you have to catch them in with some sort of beam shot or sword strike. So basically, that's what I would do for his final smash. I'd give him the Mystic Art with Flynn, Yuri and Flynn, like a double team, Bushin, Sotenha. The opponents get caught. They're like, what? They're in the middle of the battlefield. Yuri jumps across, slashes them. Flynn jumps, slashes them. They both catch him in a circle, which kind of keeps them contained in that area. They jump in the air. They slash their swords together and does this big hexagram, like this big like intertwining energy beams that fly to the stage and blow up the opponent. There you go. Now let's get on to the percentage chance I can actually see him getting in. I think it's on foot with Lloyd. If we do get a Tails character as the next Namco rep, or a Namco rep in general, if it's the third rep, fourth or fifth rep, if there's ever a Tails rep in there, it's basically between Lloyd and Yuri. Yuri is just as likely as Lloyd. People jump on the bandwagon just because Sakurai wants Lloyd, and that Lloyd was a Mii costume. Lloyd's the most Nintendo-oriented lead character. But that shouldn't dictate that he's the obvious only choice. And you were cutting out the likes of Crest Elbane, the original lead, who is also very Nintendo-oriented, or the likes of Yuri Lowell, who's one of the most popular popular main characters in the series. I give him a 60% chance. So I gave Lloyd a 65% chance. I do think Lloyd's still more likely because of his Nintendo affiliation and him being super popular, especially with Sakurai. But your guys are counting out all the other characters from the Tails franchise that are not Lloyd. And Yuri and Crest, especially Yuri, comes very damn close to being on Lloyd's level and being the choice because of his Nintendo affiliation. The game now coming to Switch, his crossover status, his popularity, especially in Japan. He is just as much as Lloyd. And I know Lloyd got the Mii costume and it has Sakurai's blessings and whatnot. Sakurai really wants him, but there's other Tails characters out there that are just as possible as them. And Yuri is just as likely, and then Crest is in third place, basically. So I give him a 60% chance. It's very likely, very possible. If they don't go for Lloyd, he is the next obvious choice. So there you go with that. And that's it for Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia. Now put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys like the Tails franchise? Do you guys want to see the Tails franchise represented? Should it be Yuri? Should it be Lloyd? Or do you want to go for someone like Asbel Lant, Crest Elbane, what's her face from Tales of Berseria? Now, anyone from the franchise is possible, but really the top three choices are Crest, Lloyd, and Yuri, really, if you think about it. So put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys like Yuri? You want to see him get in? Do my reasons make sense? Or reasons you want to see him get in? My moveset good? What moveset would you give him? Does that final smash sound cool? 60% too high, too low? Put in the comments down there and we can discuss it and have fun. And that's it for character number 88. And stay tuned for when I go on to character number 89. When I jump back into another Sega franchise, I just talked about Streets of Rage as Axel Stone, but I'm going to be talking about Yakuza's one and only Kazuma Kiryu, the Dragon of Dojima. See you all in the next one.